Hey, ladies, welcome to Black Women Making Money. This is the Super Bowl show, and this is officially Pay Off That Debt weekend. Ladies, as you are coming in, please give us a thumbs up and say hello to my beautiful guest, Victoria, here. She is the Credit Solutionist on YouTube. Hello, Victoria.
Well, hello, Cherie. How you doing?
Doing well. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you for having me on the show. I wanted to start off with that, my Southern hospitality.
Absolutely, and you're all dolled up and everything, and I'm just like, I've been working all day. So,
I was gonna say, you
like,
look
this
like
is
you over
how
there
it
making
is.
money, okay? So it's
Yes.
all right.
We over here on Sunday trying to make some money. Yeah. You know what? There are so many things that happen during the weekdays that on like today was a great day for me to actually put certain things in place so I could hit the
Mhm.
ground running tomorrow morning with making calls and things like that. But definitely want to say hello to everybody. Thanks for being nerds with us with regards to not watching the Super Bowl and instead watching information about how to pay off that debt, get that credit together so that we can buy houses, get better jobs, level up, etc. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up as you all are coming in. And Victoria, I always like to start off with the question of what your YouTube channel is, what you talk about, and how you actually got into the topic or the expertise that you have.
Oh man. All right. Well, I'm going to try to give you the condensed version. But
Mhm.
hello, everyone in YouTube land. I am Victoria Langford, the Credit Solutionist. We're actually doing a rebranding right now. So I am the Solutionist Experience. Reason being, there's a whole lot that goes into not just credit, but paying off your debt. And I had an epiphany this weekend that at the end of the day, I want to teach people how to actually excel in life and create their personal legacy. Credit is only one part of that. So I'm actually making a little bit of a pivot myself. But as far as who I am, I'm literally just a girl that loves credit and realizes there's a very close correlation with debt in this country because I have also experienced, being in debt to my eyeballs and going into collections and having this crazy secret from that I just kept to myself. I didn't even tell the person I was living with that I was in deep in debt. And I would, tear up collection letters like a lot of my clients do before they get to me because we have this thing where if we just ignore it, it'll go away, but it doesn't. So a lot of women that are my age, millennials and a bit older, are having the same issues that I'm having. It wasn't until I was rejected for an apartment in my dream city, which is Hollywood, California. I know a lot of people are like, what? But when I was denied my apartment, I thought, what the heck? I have a job in a corporate office for a multi-million-dollar nonprofit. How dare you? So I got educated about credit repair, finding errors on your credit report, and really seeing that we have more control over this thing than we think that we do. And we control our destiny. So I created my credit repair company back in 2019 to help people just like me that want to get ahead. Right. And honestly, people can't find me unless they see me. Right. So that's why we started the YouTube channel to really not just extend the brand or expand the brand, but really just to let people know, hey ladies, there's women out here that look just like you, and we're public about some of our struggles and what's been going on. So Cherie, girl, I feel like I'm going on and on,
That's
but
okay. That's
but that's
okay.
but
I
that's
love
really
it.
but that's really what it is. And it's like when I talk to people, no matter if it's a man, woman, young, older, middle age, they all have a common thread where it's like, I wasn't educated on this. Now I'm in the hole. Why didn't somebody tell me this was going to happen?
Mhm.
Right. So I'm at the point I'm reaching back while I'm still trying to progress forward and get my goals and dreams to help these people because there is still a spot for us. And you already know we were talking, offline what last
Mhm.
week about
Last
these
week.
these wonderful avenues that are opening up for us.
Yeah.
It's my job. I've made it my job to let people know what's out there,
Yeah.
to be the sounding board. Okay, what else am I going to do with my time, y'all? I'm not watching the Super Bowl.
Well, you were
You
in
know?
here with some of our wonderful ladies. So, ladies, as you were coming in, please hit the like button.
Yes.
Becoming Boss C. I hope you're catching this on the replay. Unfortunately, we couldn't move it up But that's okay. You'll be watching the Super Bowl. I know you'll be in the replay though.
Success
Computer.
doesn't wait, y'all. You got to jump on it when it's here.
Yes, yeah, but she gonna be shaking her bum bum to Rihanna,
And
so
eating
that
chicken
it's
wings. I'm
fine.
not
I
mad at it.
say, I'm
Ooh,
mad at
chicken wings
you.
would be so good right now.
Computer and Coin is in the building. Hello. And D'Ambrosia is here saying hello to everybody as well. Okay, so let's start off with talking a little bit about. So first of all, I want to actually take a step back. As you were talking, I think that it's important for us as 40 something, 50 something, even 60 something year old women
Mhm.
to be honest with not just our family, but also, I mean, I'm telling say everything to everybody, but also other people about like, hey, this is where I am right now, and these are the mistakes that I've made.
Mhm.
And, because of this, I am X amount of dollars in debt, or I am not where I should be with regards to retirement or things like that. I am someone who knew a little bit better. But still, I did a couple of things in business,
Mhm.
things didn't work out the way that I intended for them to work out. I will put my number out there because it took me probably about 8 or 9 months to actually sit down and write out like all of my debt. It didn't take me 8 or 9 months to write out my debt. It took me 8 or 9 months to decide to write out my debt because I knew that that was like the first step,
Ooh,
right?
and it
So
hurts.
it hurts, but then after the initial sting, I was like, "You know what? It's a number." It's just like getting on the scale and seeing the number, and at first you're like, "What?" And then you're like, "You know what? It's just a starting point."
There you
So,
go.
ladies, including my house, my number is 479. And I'm just like, "Okay." It's
Mhm.
part of the reason why I took the job that I have taken. I wanted a sales job was so there would be a cap on my income so that now I am able to say, okay, with the opportunity that I have and the commission structure that I have, the amount of money that I'm able to make is dependent on the amount of effort that I'm putting into it.
There you go.
So, one of the shows we have coming up actually is you can't want $200,000 income make with a 20,000 work ethic, $20,000 work ethic. And you have to put in a certain amount of time, energy, focus, money in order to get where you want to be. So, I do think that it's important. Another story that I'll tell you is just a story of my parents. My parents divorced when I was 10 years old. My father was very frugal with money. He ended up paying off his house. He paid off his cars. He had some cash in the bank. He was able to retire. My mother was not as fortunate. I'll just say that. So she is still working today. Now she's working kind of part time. She does bookkeeping. So,
Mhm.
and then she has her social security. And that dichotomy basically showed me, oh, shoot, I want to pay off my house. I want to pay off my house before I'm 60. So that was the other thing that kind of got me focused. So, like, I want to be completely debt free.
Mhm.
And I've been reading a lot of articles where there are people who are so focused on it that they're becoming completely debt free in like bigger debts like mine, 5 to 7 years.
Mhm.
So with that, Rose is saying hello and saying, I'm $0 in debt. I just
Ooh.
want to know safe investments. Oh, Rose, well, we may talk about a little bit about that as well, but we have all sorts of stuff on the channel that you could definitely come back to. I will say there's nothing that's 100% safe. So
I know my
you
little
have
leg
your
started
risk.
shaking under the table. I'm like, "Girl, that you're not gonna find that."
Yeah,
But I didn't wanna
it's
I'm a
risk.
little brash, y'all, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, no, no. You could be brash on here. It's fine. It's gonna be risk reward, Rose. Risk
Yes.
reward
Everything, honestly, with a good payoff involves
mhm,
a modicum of risk.
of
So
risk.
you
Yeah.
always gotta know that. Like,
Yeah.
all of us have taken a risk. Like, Cherie took a risk by going into
Mhm,
a sales job. That's a
mhm.
very risky move, whether you know it or
Yeah.
not, you know?
Yeah.
So,
But
yeah.
I wouldn't want anything else because I've been an entrepreneur for so long that, I'm okay with that. But it's great as well because I don't have all of the cost that goes into business. Like I contact, the accounting department and I'm like, I need the credit card in order to pay for this, and they're on it. So
Yeah,
and Rose is saying, classy channel, beautiful woman. Thank you so much, my dear. Thank you. Thank you. Well, let's get into this debt conversation.
for
So
sure.
um first of all, let's just get into this what's happening in the economy overall. There are a lot of reports out right now saying that a lot of Americans are living on credit cards.
Hmm.
Inflation is super high, so people, aren't making enough money. Some of us are over leveraged, things like that. I know you work with a lot of clients as well. Tell me a little bit about what you're seeing, some of the common problems that not just Black women, but people overall, but this is a Black women's channel.
Hmm.
What are some of the problems that you're seeing that we're having with regards to money, debt, and credit?
First thing I want to put out there, money does not know color. So everybody's having this issue, in the sense that I run into a lot of clients that unfortunately put themselves in a bad position when they were 18 years old simply by getting student loan debt. Now, um, and I'm not saying don't go to school, guys. I'm just saying that we have to
I was
weigh
going
the
to say,
risk.
we're definitely not saying
I
that.
know, because
Please go to school.
I'm like, look, because I do have a certain attitude about school on my channel. And guys, I went to college too. So it's not that I'm completely against it. I just think that we need to be more strategic, right? And we have to see what are we going to do 4 years after, or 8 years, or however long it takes you to get your degree. The part that I think that we're missing in the American education system, because I'm kind of telling you why I think this is an issue. The American education system does not teach people about economics. It doesn't teach them how to really, I guess you could even say budget. Just we'll keep it simple. They need a budgeting class. When they started taking home ec out of the schools, I think that that was the worst thing ever, because it really does teach you basic human skills,
Yeah.
right?
Okay, conspiracy theory.
For
I
sure.
think that some of it is because companies don't want you to be financially solvent and independent.
You'll stop coming to work if that were the case.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And school for the most part, okay, let me preface this. When you become financially savvy or you simply read a book or an article and you apply it to your situation and how you came up, you start to see that there are some patterns here. School in and of itself teaches you to become an employee. An employee is essentially, for lack of a better term, it's a cog in someone else's machine. Okay. That's what you are. So when you become a business owner, you recognize that an entrepreneur, you recognize you are able to structure how you want your business to be, what your output's going to be and what your result is going to be based on that output, right? You are building your own dream. When you're an employee, which you learned how to be in school, you are building someone else's dream, right?
Yeah, I mean, exactly.
Yeah, so
Um,
they are teaching you repetition, how to
mhm,
be compliant. They're teaching you
mhm.
how basic arithmetic is almost all you need unless you're gonna because I'm gonna hire an accountant. I'm not doing all that stuff myself. But
I've been an accountant. This is it's not that hard.
I know and I actually signed up for some accounting classes, which brings me to another point. And a lot of other content creators talk about this, but a lot of the stuff you get in college, you can get for free on the internet. It's just that college has a few extra things that the real world may not, which is you have an automatic network that's in school, depending on how you work it, right? You do learn how to structure yourself and structure work. You learn how to complete projects. You learn all kinds of things. It's a very expensive way to learn, though, I would say, right? And you're taking a chance because who says you're going to make the money that you think you're going to make, right? So college is kind of a gamble. So back to your original
Well,
question. My
yes and
apologies.
no. I mean, I think it would depend on what you're studying,
There you go.
where you're going to school, how networked
Mhm.
you're going to be once you're done with school. I mean, we've had the
Yes.
conversation on here of like, I wish I had joined the Deltas when I was in college. My grandmother was a Delta, but she never pulled my pigtails and said, Cherie, join the join the sorority. She never said anything. And so
Yeah.
I mean, I've done okay with
Mhm.
my professional career, but we've talked about this on this channel. I think part of the reason Kamala Harris is VP is because of the AKAs. Like, you know, um, so you do want to look at the return on investment. And you are right that the one great thing that college teaches you is how to finish projects.
Mhm.
The other thing is when companies are looking at ways to start excluding people, especially
Mhm.
Black people,
Yeah.
sometimes they do start with degrees. So
Mhm.
I do on this channel, I do suggest that even if we have, a text series just like Erica does, even if the women are getting their tech certs, I do just like Dr. Dick says and is warning us, like you still want to get your degree because there may come the pendulum swinging back where getting that information system degree is going to be important. So
Mhm.
before you go on, hey, God bless, saying everybody hit the like button. Hit the like button, please, everybody. D'Ambrosia saying my exact thoughts, Cherie. They want us to be dependent on them. Y'all know we talked, Victoria and I talked about YouTube being like an ego thing. You want to see your subscriber numbers going up and your views going up, but sometimes you got to speak the truth. So, yeah.
That's what we're struggling with on my channel this year. So
Yeah.
watch me grow, girl, because I'm learning a lot.
Rose is saying exactly. D'Ambrosia's saying that cut deep. I'm literally building someone else's dream. You are. I think that you can build your own dream in tandem with somebody else's dream based on the investments that you're doing and the things you're doing outside of your 9 to 5. I'll be here interested in hearing what Victoria has to say about
I was
that.
gonna say I got something for
Rose
you on
saying
that
very
one. Yeah.
true. So, okay, so why don't we continue talking? So, I had interrupted you with regard to where you're headed with what you're seeing with your clients.
Yeah, so my basic like okay, YouTube, speaking of YouTube,
Mhm,
YouTube is a great way for me and it has been a great way for me to understand who my client actually is.
mhm,
And my main viewers on my channel are people that are late 20s all the way up to their mid 40s. So what are we doing during that time, you guys? Like we're out of college, obviously. We are on a trajectory in our professional life to kind of know what we're going to do. You know whether or not you're getting married for the most part. Most people already have children by that time. Like you're in a place where it's like, okay, if you've made the right decisions, you're on the path to success. But if
mhm,
you haven't made the right decisions, it's blaringly obvious and it's scary. It's a lot scarier than it is when you're 25. Okay, for to not know what you're going to do by 37
yeah,
because now, you're in a different age bracket and all kinds of stuff. So I'm seeing that we're getting a lot of people coming into PX Credit Solutions and actually booking calls at mycreditcall.com that are in panic mode because you know how they say you're boiling a frog
mhm,
slowly, right?
slow, slow,
That's what's been happening over the last decade, 15 years
mhm,
almost. We just been kind of rolling with the punches, not really, asking for that raise at work, staying at the job for 10, 7, whatever years, you know? And then once you realize, oh snap, I'm getting to the point now, interest rates are going up, I can't pay my debt. Oh wait, I wanted to get that house, they denied me because of these collections that I thought, didn't mean anything, right?
mhm,
So that's what I'm getting. I'm getting people that are sort of in panic mode, right? But my job is to show them, hey, don't panic. You just need somebody to look at this objectively with you. Let's focus on what matters. Let's ignore what doesn't. So, a big thing I tell my clients is that okay, credit repair is something that we do. But
mhm,
like I said, I recognize that it's not just credit repair, it's removing barriers because credit is the barrier between you and your dream life,
mhm.
you and your dream job. Okay, even you and your dream partner in some respects, because where you
That is
live,
true.
no,
We
really, because
talked about that. Yeah.
yeah, and there's a few reasons that that's the case. Because when you think about it, unless you're a super outgoing person, I'm just giving one example. Unless you're super outgoing and you're going to find a way to get to these events and things that you need to get to, let's say you live in a not so great part of town. How are you going to meet this person that has the same aspirations that you have? How are you going to meet that person, right? I
Yeah.
mean, there's little tiny ways that having bad credit or not having enough income actually affect the trajectory of your life. People like Cherie, people like myself, people even like Erica are here to point those things out to you that you don't see. We got to shine a light on it for you because, for the most part, in certain aspects, we've already gone through it. So we're like,
Mhm.
wait, if I ignored that aspect or if I didn't see it, there's a bunch of other people that didn't see it either.
Right.
So who am
Well,
I to not shine the light? What else do I
yeah.
have to do, y'all? I ain't got nothing better to do but to help people. So
Well, we're glad you're here helping on a Super Bowl Sunday. Everybody hit the like button. Listen,
but I see
we
a lot
had
of
the
panic and
conversation.
rush. Just to
Yeah.
kind of, bring it home. I see a lot of people that are panicked but still have dreams and maybe made some mistakes but their dreams are still attainable.
Mhm.
Those are the people that I get, but they're ready to hit that next level of life. And that's what we help them with. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, we are the network for upwardly mobile Black women, and we had a conversation about the Beyonce tickets last week. And we will look through a whole bunch of GoFundMe's and things like that. And there was a text going back and forth between, I'm sure you saw it because it was all over. Now, I let the ladies know. I don't know if that text was actually true or not because sometimes people make stuff up. But
Mhm.
the scenario was the fiance we discovered, and woman and man supposed to be getting married. They've been saving for 10 months for a house, and the woman wants to go see Beyonce. The man says, no, we've been saving for this house for 10 months. Let's continue saving. And she called off the wedding and said she wanted her $741 back so she could go to Beyonce ticket. Go get her Beyonce ticket. And what I said during that broadcast was, um, as upwardly mobile Black women, if you want an upwardly mobile man, and on this channel, y'all know I am for interracial relationships, like date and marry the best man who is going to be good to you and good for your children. But I said, an upwardly mobile man is not going to marry a financially irresponsible woman.
Right.
So you do want a man who cares about your credit score. Or if your credit score is not as good as it should be right now, that you are actually actively fixing it.
Mhm.
And when we say active, we mean active. Like he's going to need to see some work, just like you would want to see work in him as well. So let me read some of these. Hold on. Comments here. Quality channels grow slow, trash channels grow faster. That is the truth.
Yeah.
Serafina, hello, saying I'm in university now, and this definitely reminded me to network and stop being a recluse. Yeah, you're there is a study that says that 40%, 40% of the jobs that people get are never put on any job board or anything like that.
Mhm.
Someone knows somebody, the job is open. Next thing like I got my job was never listed anywhere. I put it out to my network, and my boss knew me for 10 years, and he's like, let's talk about it. Next
Mhm.
thing you know, I've got this job.
Yep.
So you want it for that. You want it for social purposes. You want it for romantic purposes,
Yes.
um, all sorts of reasons. You want to, figure out how you can kind of get out of your shell. And I like small gatherings. So, like, you will never see me in some place with 2,000 people. Like, that's not me. But give me a nice
What?
small, it's true.
At
I
least
don't
at
like big
least you know
gatherings.
yourself though. Like at
Yeah.
least you know yourself.
Yeah. So, instead of being a recluse and going out to the big thing, maybe just starting off with something small. Maybe it's
Mhm.
coffee with a whole bunch of people at a meetup, or
Yeah.
something like that. So, um,
And you
the
can find
goddess of
people, I was gonna say, you could find people no matter where you are in life.
that
There's so many people that are into the same things you're into. You just gotta know where to find them.
yeah. So try Meetup and Eventbrite. That's a great
Mhm.
place to start. The
Yep.
goddess Athena is saying, you, Victoria, are the best.
You're crossing
Y-
platforms, girl. The
yes, for
goddess
the up.
Athena. Yeah, she's
Yes,
from another platform that I frequent as well. So she's, yeah, very smart woman
fantastic.
here. Yeah.
Yes, for the upwardly mobile Black women. Yes, that's
Oh.
that's that's who we are over here. OMG, that story had me clutching my pearls.
The Beyonce story.
Beyonce tickets are revealing mindsets. Yes, they
I
are.
love that she said that. And can I just say
Yes.
something
Yes, of
to
course.
speak to that? And like I said, you know, when you have a certain mind, when you have a certain mind, I'll leave it there.
Mhm.
You can see things for what they truly are. And I learned this because I also audit for HUD. I'm like a liaison between property managers and owners and HUD.
Okay.
I learn a lot about financial mindsets, and that's
Mhm.
why I like it kind of works with credit repair as well. It's like, okay, both of these are two, they look like they're two ends of the spectrum, but they're not.
Mhm.
They're very closely related, okay? There's a lot of money being exchanging hands in both of these industries. Now, what I was going to say is that when I look at some of that stuff, I see a lot of different mindsets, and I can tell you exactly where you are. Show me your bank statement and I can tell you what your mind and what kind of person you are. Same
Yes.
with your credit report. Show me your credit report. Have an hour consultation with me. I can tell you precisely who you are and where you are. If what I
Mhm.
say offends you, then you got to check yourself and get right. So with what she's saying, yes, because there's going to be a ton of people that are going to be sitting or standing right by that stage, getting Beyonce sweat on them, that are literally about to get evicted.
Stone throw away from foreclosure. Yep.
Probably tore the notice off the door before they got in the car to get to the concert,
Mhm.
right? But the people that are going to make money from that show, obviously, is Beyonce,
Mhm. The band,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, the dancers, everybody's gonna make money.
Mhm.
The city is gonna make money, right?
Mhm.
Whatever county she's in is gonna make money. Hairstylist, nail salon, techs, clothing stores, they're all gonna make money, right? But the mindset that a lot of people have is they just want to spend the money to see her
Mhm.
without thinking about the economy that she is creating around what she's doing. So I
Yep.
just think it's really interesting that Athena said that because it's like, yes, who the people I see piping up for the Beyonce tickets that can't afford their car note, yes, it's like, oh man, this is the mindset right now. Those are the people that need to be on this channel right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I mean, we went through some of the GoFundMes and, um, my point was and many of you were here, like, hit the like button, ladies. Hit the like button.
Absolutely.
You got
And
this
share the video,
and share
guys.
the video, share the stream. But we went through some of the GoFundMes, and a couple of them were like well, all of them were basically, "I don't have any money." Right? Uh, one of the women was a mother who works a minimum paying job. She didn't say minimum wage, but minimum paying job, and she said her feet hurt, but she wanted $1,500 to go see Beyonce. And, what we talked about on this channel, so I feel like people gonna go see Beyonce. If that's what they wanna do, that's what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
But I said, "Okay, but where's your money to level up?" You can't or you shouldn't want to go see Beyonce, but then when somebody says, "Well, here's this tech cert for $500 and you can go and you can take this class and we're going to have a recruiter in there for you and we're going to help you with your resume and we're going to help you prep you for your
Mhm.
interview." You say, "Well, I don't have the money. That's too much."
Yeah.
Like so what I'm seeing is a sea of people where every time Beyonce comes into town, because Beyonce tours every 2 to 3 years. A lot of people were on GoFundMe saying, "I'll never see her again." It's like, no, she'll be around 2 years from now.
Yeah.
My question is 2 years from now, are you going to be in the same financial situation that you are today with another GoFundMe asking for some Beyonce tickets?
Yeah. No, oh gosh, you're so right. And like I said, it's because really those women and men and whomever is going to go see her that knows that they can't do it. It's the same as somebody buying, a wig or some designer shoes and, knowing that you can't afford it, or they're taking that tax check and doing it. Your taxes, honestly, if you get that refund, you should be putting that towards an investment of some sort, right? You paying off
You're
your
right
debt.
about that. I didn't even think about the people gonna spend their refund money. People at H&R Block right now running with their, what do you call it, W-2s to get this money. And, when you go to
Yeah.
H&R Block, they take I don't know what percentage, but they take a, like if you ask for your money right away, they take a huge percentage out of that money. I
Yeah.
didn't even think about that.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so, like I said, once you become very business minded, you are able to see things a certain way. And I know Goddess Athena knows what I'm talking about. When you
Mhm.
put on your goggles, Athena knows what I'm talking about. When you put on your goggles, you kind of understand what's going on around you. It's not a mistake that Beyonce put out that teaser for everybody to see because she had to test the market.
Mhm.
Also, she had to get in your brain to say, oh, tax time, child care credit, I'm going to get dependent allowances, all this other stuff. She knows that, right? It's no mistake that she put it out at the time that she did. She could have put this
Mhm.
out last summer, you guys, but she's putting it out when she knows everybody's going to have money that
Money.
they think is free
Yes.
money, but it's not. So
It's not.
that's the trick, you guys. You have to look at Beyonce is a business.
She is.
If I can speak on this for like a minute, I'll
Yeah,
time myself and then I'll move
absolutely.
on. When you say this, you sound as if you're a hater, right? But no, Beyonce is a business, y'all. What happens, I can imagine exactly what Beyonce does. She and Jay and whoever their 20,000 accountants are sit together and they say, okay, how many kids she got now? She got Blue Ivy, and is there another one like
She
Yellow Sun? What's his name?
is.
What's the kid's name?
Oh, I don't know that she had 2 twins and Blue Ivy. That's
Oh,
all I know.
snap. I didn't even know she had twins. Lord have
Mhm.
mercy. So, okay. So she has all these kids, right? And she's got legacy, and Beyonce comes from money, guys. Like, she comes from a pretty intact family structure. It's a little wacky now, but who cares? The kids are grown. So Beyonce's a business. When should I put out when should I go on tour? When should I do certain things? They get together and they say, hey, maybe we want to buy, I don't know, an apartment building in whatever city, whatever country, whatever. They're not buying it under the name Jay-Z and Beyonce. Okay. But they have to create a strategy to get that money to be able to go do those things. So what does she do? She has a concert. She puts out an album. She's a worker just like you guys are. Don't get it twisted. Just
She
because she's
is, yeah.
famous, and that's the point I'm making. It's like you are going to watch an employee. I just want you guys to know that because she has to do something to get money. She's working for someone to get that money, and she's just getting her cut so she can go and invest it in something. So when you realize your role in that system, you start to say to yourself, well, wait a minute, why am I building her dream? I'm paying her to sing the same dang songs that I've been listening to in my earphones. I understand because I've been to live concerts for people that I love. But when I step back and I say, well, should I be buying these tickets or should I be going and looking at an auction website and buying some land? I think you should be buying the land. Okay. I'm going
Yeah,
to say that.
or buying something that is going to appreciate and not be you spend the money and then poof, you have the experience and
And it's gone.
it's
And
gone.
I
Yes.
mean,
You might have a T-shirt with it, but that's that's about
listen,
it.
and like I said, it's you have to understand also that she's part of this massive media machine. So they get paid to keep your eyes glued. They get paid to get into your psyche. Like people study this. They hire people to do this. They know how to get into y'all's heads. So just get ahead of it. And then if you can say to yourself, okay, I'm choosing, and this is not everybody that's going to see her concert, but it's a good chunk of them. If you could get ahead of yourself and say, okay, I know she's marketing to me, but okay, I have this goal that I want to get to. Do I really need to go to this concert? Right? Because you talked about it last week, Cherie, going dark, right?
Going
Dark
dark mode.
mode.
We've been talking about that on this channel nonstop,
And
ladies.
oh God, when you said that, I
Mhm,
wanted to scribble it on my wall right here in my
mhm.
office because I said, you know what? Yes. And people are not going to understand when you don't want to go to the concert. They're not going to
Right,
understand. Like there's
right.
people that think some of you women are kind of kooky for sitting on the live stream
Mhm.
instead of
During
watching the
Super
Super
Bowl
Bowl.
Sunday. Yep.
Because don't you want to see Riri? Don't you want to see her post baby body? Don't you want to see that?
Well, look, I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna see it once we get off the live stream.
Boom.
Yes.
And I was
It'll be
and
on YouTube.
I'm gonna say this because I was gonna put this on my Instagram, but I did not want to ruffle feathers. I was
Mhm.
gonna say in a story, yeah, I know nobody in my follower list has debt or anything. I know none of you are like that, but I was thinking instead of doing what you're doing today, knowing that, you're gonna have some quiet time to figure out what you want to do with yourself, get a strategy going, watch a
Mhm.
live stream like what you're doing now, buy a course. You could be sitting in peace doing that right now and catch the highlights tomorrow, because that's what everybody's going to be talking about. You're not going to, you wouldn't miss a beat if you didn't
No.
check out the game today, right? Because we have social media, we have news. Everybody's going to report on this game tomorrow. Did you really have to watch it? Is my
Yeah.
question.
Hey, Stephanie, haven't
So
seen you in a minute, girl. How you doing?
let me sip my water.
Um, okay, so let me kind of first of all, Celine, I'm very proud of you. Celine said that a girlfriend wanted her to go. They were going to buy tickets, or the friend asked if Celine wanted to buy tickets. Celine said no,
Yeah.
she's saving for a house. So yes,
Kudos, kudos.
good for you. Okay, what is going dark mode? So the goddess Athena, great question. Going dark mode basically means that you choose one thing to focus on and you focus on it with blinders on for 30, 60, or 90 days. So it could be I'm going to start this business and get my first $1,000 through the door. And what you do is you turn off everything. You turn off YouTube, you turn off Clubhouse, you turn off all the distractions. You do normal stuff like you have to go to work, right? Or you still go
Hey,
to
don't
the
go that dark, y'all.
yeah, yeah, not that dark, right? You still go to the gym if you're already a gym member or things like that. But all of this other stuff is going dark mode. And what happens is if you ever look at people who say I did more in 12 months than most people do in 12 years, it's usually because they've gone dark mode. And for most people, let's say that you wanted to be an expert in chat GPT, you literally like learning how to do the prompts and things like that, how to research on
I'm
it
gonna step
properly.
away for one.
Okay. You could literally go dark mode, study everything within ChatGPT for like 30 days and be at the top 1% and be making oodles of money from big businesses, mid-sized businesses, individuals who need to learn how to use the system in order to make money. So you're saying you're in dark mode for your business. Yes, absolutely. So Stephanie is saying go in dark mode with Roth IRA maxing and investing this year. Good for you. I asked someone else to get my Beyonce tickets. I'm not spending my money. Now, Celine also says we have the same 24 hours as Beyonce. I absolutely agree. So we all have 24 hours a day. We all have 168 hours in a week. You're going to spend time sleeping. You're going to spend time, eating and getting dressed and all sorts of things like that. So typically, a person. So I don't have kids. So let's say a person without kids could literally spend about 60 to 70 hours a week being productive. So I might spend 40 of those hours on my job. Well, then great. What am I doing with the other 20 to 30 hours? Am I online bitching about the gender war? Or am I saying, okay, I'm going to spend 80% of this time, I'm going to spend, 15 hours of that focusing on a side hustle in order to pay off this debt that I have, get my credit together, get into a house, things like that. So, what you're mentioning, Celine, is very important. We have to figure out what we're actually doing with our time because it's not just the money with Beyonce, it's the time. It's the focus, it's the effort. When we had our Beyonce discussion, we talked about the fact that the average American spends 20 hours preparing for a vacation, but they don't even spend 1 hour preparing for their financial future. So we really do need to, it's not just money, it's the time, it's the focus. Again, going back to Beyonce, it's not just that people are spending $1,000 on a ticket. They got to get their hair done, they got to get their nails done, they got to get their eyebrows done. They, they're going to have their cars all decked out. They're going to sing Single Ladies and play every single album of Beyonce for a week, a week before and a week after. That's what I was referring to. It's bigger than just the money. So um, let's then move on to the topic of the hour. Everybody hit the like button. And let's talk about the people who are here in the chat. How do we get out of debt? How do we fix our credit? And let's actually take it separate. Let's start with the credit first. Let's say that we have a person who has made some unfortunate decisions. They
Hmm.
have bad credit. Um, I always joke that a lot, and it's not a joke, a lot of people on social media lie to you with
Yes.
regards to credit repair.
Yeah.
So, Victoria, what are some things that people say that are absolutely wrong, absolutely false on YouTube and other social media places with regards to credit and fixing your credit?
Ooh-wee. Okay. So, number one myth I want to dispel is that you have to pay for credit repair. You don't. If you run into somebody like me that runs an actual legal organization, you legally have to tell your clients, hey, by the way, you don't actually have to pay me for this, right? You can do everything yourself. It's even so much so that I have to, it's regulated that in my contract, I have to give you a full page that gives you all the free resources. Okay. So that's number one. You
I
don't have
paid
to.
3 people for credit repair and nobody ever told me that. So this is
So
interesting.
yeah, and it depends on, and I'm pretty sure, I'm positive, 100% positive that this part of the contract has to be in everybody's contract for credit repair. I know this. Okay, this is like federal stuff we're dealing with here, because essentially you cannot. I can't tell you that I can do something that you can't. Everything that I have access to, you could. But the question is, do you have the time? Are you going to study? Are you going to go into the software every night and figure out what it is that you need to do? Are you going to track your credit monitoring? Are you going to track your credit score? Are you going to call the collectors? Are you going to call the credit reporting agencies? Are you going to, research the over 100, 200, 300 credit reporting agencies that are out here reporting on you? Are you going to do that? Probably not. So that's what you're paying for. You're paying for the expertise, and you're paying for somebody to do the job that you don't have the time to do, right? Because you have a family, you have a job, you got Beyonce to go see, you have a lot of stuff. You got a
Which
Super Bowl to
yeah,
watch, right? So,
yes. Well,
so,
can I oh, I'm sorry.
oh, no, 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 go ahead.
So I, at one point, hired 3 people to help me with credit repair. And the first 2 people, like, I hired them and they said, "Oh, we're gonna send these letters off every month.
Hmm.
When you get something back, just let us know." I
Right.
was doing that and they were not they send the first set of letters off,
Hmm.
but then they were not sending the second and third and fourth. And by the time I hired the third person, I was so disgusted. I'm like, "Give me the letters." Like, it was somebody that I knew. So I'm like, "Give me the letters and I will put it in my calendar and I will send the letters myself."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's because I felt a lot of credit repair people, and y'all, this was back in 2015. So,
Hmm. That's when it
a
really
lot of
took off, like
yeah,
big
a
time.
lot of credit repair people, they didn't have their back end operation set up. They
Hmm.
talked a good game. And one person I hired was an attorney, like an esquire, you know,
Wow.
and but they had the sales pitch. Let's just say that.
Oh
But
God, I
when
hope
we
I don't
got
know who
in,
you're talking about. Oh Lord, because somebody just popped in my head, and I'm like, I hope it's not that man. Oh my God, go ahead.
it was a man, yes. But they had the sales pitch, but and then you pay the money and you're like, okay, I don't have to think about this because I was busy running a business, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm,
And they sent out the first set of, letters and that was it. So,
mhm.
yeah. So go ahead. I just kind of wanted to like level set people with some of my experiences with regards to this.
Yeah, and that's the general experience in credit repair because, okay, the barrier of entry to start a credit restoration company is very low. So it's very appealing because a lot of people can do it. It's almost like, I don't want to say it's like an MLM, but like think about those people that used to sell Herbalife and stuff. It's like, okay, you put in a little bit of money and then you get it going because you can, I don't know, there's more how to start a credit repair company classes than you could shake a stick at. I mean, it's like $20 if you want to really learn how to do it. But to do it effectively is a whole different story, right? And automation is a big part of credit restoration that people don't know. So, without going too far into it, it is a very automated business. I am still very hands on in my business. Now, I will tell you that that affects productivity on my end because I could be out doing something else, but I touch every letter that I send out because everybody's situation is different. So, there's that. But to kind of speak to what you were saying, we have to shed some light on what credit repair is. It's a multifaceted process. It's sold to you like, oh, we're just going to send these letters out and all is going to be well. I also legally cannot tell you that I can delete one thing off of your credit report. There's a lot of we are shackled quite a bit in this industry. So a lot of what you're seeing is actually illegal advertising, if I can just be honest with that. And that's my compliance and auditor mind coming out. So I'm glad that I still have my foot in that industry, so to speak, because it helps me a lot in the credit repair realm because I'm not going to make any missteps here, right? So it's not a set it and forget it. It is I send out the letters, but I also tell you, hey, you need to get this set up, this kind of credit account, this kind of credit account. 3 months from now, you need to do this over here and you need to move this money over onto this credit card and this on this and this and that. Because I say what I do is I work on the mistakes that you've made in the past. You have to actively work on burying the bad news. That's what I call it. Because the more positive lines of credit you open, the more you're willing to settle some of your debt, the more, you're willing to do those things while I simultaneously erase the bad stuff in the back that I can't legally tell you that I can do for sure, but we could work something out for you. We're in a nice little dance together, if I can say that. It's not hands off credit. That is a myth because you kind of wanted me to shed some light on some things. So don't ever think you're going to hire a credit repair company and you're not going to have to participate. I pay for software so you can go into the software and see, okay, she is working. She's doing this. She's doing that. But also you're going in because your responsibility as my client is to upload all of the responses that you get. Right? So if you get a letter and you sit on it for 35 or 45 days after I send something out, that's on you. The result is on you. So credit is a active process. It's not, like I said, that's my biggest thing. It's not a set it and forget it. You have to participate in your own rescue, right?
Interesting.
So that's another, you also have to be very adamant about what it is that you want to do because it's very easy to fall off as far as like you get started, you're gung-ho, you see something get deleted, and then maybe on the next round, it doesn't get deleted. Well, I've had times where I've had to, dispute something 4 or 5 times before it got taken off, right? And another secret I'm going to tell you guys is that once that crap gets removed, can I say crap? Is that okay?
Yeah, you can say that.
Crap. Okay, so once that crap gets removed, you need to hit the ground running with whatever the heck you are trying to do.
Okay? So what does that mean, what you're trying to do? Like, give us a couple of examples.
Okay, like let's say you're coming to me because you want to purchase a house in 6 to 9 months, whatever. I usually tell people you need to give yourself 12 to 18 months, but
that's what we said.
Yes.
Here, we said 9 to 12.
Well, okay.
But if you have credit issues, then yes, 12 to 18.
You also have to think about, okay, another part of credit repair. Let me be transparent here. Another part of credit repair is that you also have to check yourself. Like I said, if I look at your credit report, I could tell who you are. And I can tell if I fix this for you, you're going to be right back here in the next year. I could tell. So a part of credit repair also is, are you really ready? Are you ready to be better? Is that clean credit report out there a true representation of your financial responsibility, your financial habits? Is it a true reflection of who you are? Because if it's not, you're going to mess up again. And I can tell. And I fired clients because I could tell right off the bat. I'm like, I like money because I like money, but I don't like it that much. right? Because I don't want you telling people that I didn't do this for you. And I also don't want you wasting my non-renewable resource and your non-renewable resource, which is time.
Mm.
Because if you want to sit around in the muck and the mire and you want to roll around in the dirt for a little bit, that's okay. That's your right to do that. If I'm making sense, if you're picking up what I'm putting down, it's your right to not get ahead, right? So
It's your right to not get ahead.
yes,
That's
it's
the
totally,
word.
and that's why like when we and backtracking to the Beyonce tickets, it is your right to stop your progress by going to that concert for one night. That one night's going to set a lot of people back 5 or 6 years. They don't know it yet, but it's going to set them back, okay? That is your right to do that, but you do not get to take my time to
Mhm.
participate in that foolishness. You don't
Exactly.
that's what you don't get.
Because the money isn't worth it. You can't pay me enough money to see. So, I
Yes.
know that when I was a business plan writer, um, like, I turned down more projects than I took.
Mhm,
And part of it was if you came to me with a project that I knew would never get funded, I didn't take you on as a client because I want wins. I want successes. I want
mhm,
is, close to 100% of the people who are coming to me looking for capital to actually be able to get it.
right.
So, um, while here, legacy, hello, my dear, saying those extra 15 to 30 hours per week in your respective dark mode can literally change the trajectory of your life in 30 days. This is absolutely true. This is going back to what Victoria is saying. You have the right to not progress in your life. Like everybody has that right, everybody has that choice. We call a spade a spade. There are a lot of Black people here, not here in this, but a lot of Black people in America talking about the system is holding me back. The man is holding me back. Can't get anything, can't do anything. Uh, it's very interesting. We talk about reparations, which I'm in favor of reparations, but I want to have like a longer conversation with regards to some things around reparations. But
Mhm,
Erica posted something today about the fact that there are parents, boomers, that have successful businesses that cannot leave those businesses to their kids.
mhm,
And throughout the comments, people are like, yeah, I knew somebody who, he had a successful business and couldn't leave it to the kids, or the kids drank it away because they were an alcoholic, or things like that. So,
yeah,
we have that responsibility as well. We do have the right. We do have the right to decide if we're going to move forward in life, if we're going to be upwardly mobile or not.
mhm,
Um, so, and I think it's important for us to know what I'll say it, the scammers, the credit repair scammers are saying so that you don't fall into a lot of those issues. If you think you're going to say, I want to fix my credit because my
mhm,
credit is 590, and you're going to be a passive person in the process, you're probably not going to fix your credit. You will.
yeah.
And that was a mistake that I made, thinking that I could hire these people and be passive in the process, and I ended up being so frustrated that I had to take over it all.
That's how they
Um,
make their money. Because when you
mhm.
think about it, think about what we sell essentially, like, we're selling you that we can get it done. People typically say 30 to 45 days. They'll say that
Mhm.
we can
Now I
so
knew that was a lie.
right? So, y'all, okay, the number one phrase to avoid is credit sweep. If you ever hear someone say credit sweep, please avoid it, because we have a nice young lady who did that for quite a few people. And,
Oh, is
now
that
she's,
woman in Texas?
I think she was. I try
I
not to say
yeah.
her name. I know a lot of people like just put it out there, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I try to respect people.
Yeah, don't say her name, but I
I'll
think I
put your
know who you're
picture out
talking
there.
about, that woman in Texas. I think she was in
Yeah.
Texas, yes.
I'm like, I'm gonna put your picture out, but I ain't gonna say your name. Now, uh, but again, she was getting involved in something that, I don't think that she understood the consequences of it. But likewise, the client didn't understand the consequences of it either. You guys, all you
Mhm.
got to do is go to your Secretary of State and you will look up Credit Services Organization. It'll tell you exactly what our rules and regs are. So some of this is on the client as well. It would behoove a lot of people look at the process, right? And say, okay, well, if I'm going to trust this person to clean up my financial reputation, you have to take some sort of ownership over that as well, right? So when you talk about the, people that have the businesses that can't leave it to their children, it's simply, I'm probably going to butcher the phrase, but it's because soft times make weak men. And I don't mean men as in just men with, the
It's,
whatever chromosome.
it's men
I
and women.
mean,
Yeah.
I mean humans, weak
Hmm.
times make horrible humans.
Hmm.
But it also creates strong ones who then create the good times that then
Hmm.
create the weak humans again. So
Hmm.
it's really up to you, like I said, to get ahead of yourself and get ahead of your mentality and get ahead of the mentality that the general pop has and what the powers that be want you to believe. Like they want, can I go there real quick?
You can go anywhere you want to go, my dear.
Okay. So there's this, everybody in society has a role. The sooner we can agree on this, the better off we'll be. At this point in history, Black people specifically, and I think Black women, honestly, Black men and Black women have their own issues separately in society. But I think that from a very young age, a lot of us are programmed to believe that we're going to have to work twice as hard, 3 times as hard, 4 times as hard as other people. No, the thing they should have told you is that you're going to have to network. If you had told me I was going to have to network, I would have never been bummed out about having to work hard because networking
Hmm.
is hard. If you just tell me I got to network, that lets me know, oh, damn, I got to work hard. Shoot. But when you get, and the reason I'm saying this, because, okay, how do I say this? Let's separate the truth that you are going to have to work harder. Let's just remove that from the equation, you guys. Think about if you're told that as a 6, 7, 8-year old in your most formative years, whoever told you that meant well when they said it, but they have set you up for a life of feeling like a victim and looking at every negative thing that happens to you from a victimhood standpoint.
And from a race standpoint, yeah.
There you go. Because I
Yeah.
cannot tell you how many times I've even thought for myself, I don't want to think or look at anything race related today. However, as a Black woman, it's put in my face every
Hmm.
day.
The
YouTube,
algorithms do it
yeah,
too.
even YouTube says to me, hey, sis, I don't care if you want to look at how to get more subscribers. I don't care if you want to look at how to better market your business to your local market. I'm going to show you the Black people that are going at it online. I want to show you the
Hmm.
discord in your race. That's what I want to show you today.
Hmm.
You going to look at this,
Yeah.
you know?
I in this channel that the worst mistake I ever made was telling Clubhouse I was Black. Why did
Girl.
if I had known that that was going to be the issue, the only reason I'm glad that I said it to Clubhouse was so that I could see some of the ridiculousness that's happening on there, but it
Mm-hmm.
totally turned me off to Clubhouse, and if I hadn't known, so I knew Clubhouse before it got big. If I hadn't known some people who were, like, telling me of the other types of private rooms that were happening that were invite only,
Mm-hmm.
I would have thought that Clubhouse was the hood.
Oof, ouch, ouch, ouch,
I
ouch.
know.
But see, you can't
It's
look like us and say that. And my
but
my
I know. I'm getting more like Erica. I'm just starting to get grumpy because it's just too much. D'Ambrosia saying, I agree they want us to work hard and not have the soft skills. It pushes us back. So I will say one thing. I will say that in our mothers, because you and I are around the same age, our mother, grandmother time, they did have to work twice as hard.
Mhm.
Um, I do think that there are times when we walk in a room and people automatically assume we can't do certain things. I also know that the bar is very low. And I also know that, I say certain things in my job and people are like, you know that? And I'm like, that's
Whoa,
like
that's what they do.
basic. I'm
And
like,
if they
yeah,
don't
it's
do it,
basic.
because some of them can't control
Yes.
it, they literally go, and you're like, you know what? Now I'm insulted. I'm gonna go take my break now. I gotta
Yeah,
go.
and so I will say that in my office, it's not racial. It's
Yeah.
just that I'm so far ahead of the other individuals in the office that they're not used to somebody coming in. And I'm at a senior management level, and people are like, "Oh, yeah, you really do know this stuff." So it's not racial. I don't. Yeah, it's more. that they're just not used to somebody coming in and saying, well, of course I wouldn't do that because dot, 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 dot. And they're like, whoa, wait, you know, but you're right. When we talk about our parents not telling us about networking, I know I had great parents. My
Mhm.
parents wanted the best for me. My parents told me keep my head in them books and off them boys. They did not say, Cherie, you also need to network while you're in college. And I think that that's a generational thing. I think they just didn't know. So, us
Yeah.
being able to come and every young lady, I have a lot of 20 to 30-year-olds listening to this channel. I take that responsibility very, very seriously
Mhm.
because I recognize that the things I'm telling them that early in their career can have a massive impact. So yeah, you want to have your soft skills, but you also need to have your technical skills, and you also need to have a really good network as well. Keep
Yeah.
your LinkedIn clean, you know.
I
Um,
suck. I suck at LinkedIn. When I tell people like my social media is trash, y'all. I'm not even gonna front, but
mhm.
that could be fixed. And guess what? Homegirl's going into dark mode because now I see the
Yeah,
power of it and I got to get it done, baby.
yeah, yeah.
Done. I wanted to actually speak on this real quick about the watching your influences.
Hmm.
I'm going to tell a powerful story and I'm going to try to not uh okay, I'm going to leave out the guilty parties. How about that? I'm just not going to.
Oh, we want to hear the guilty parties.
What
Leave out the names to protect the innocent.
yeah, and it's more of a personal story, so that's why I'm kind of doing it this way. But when I think about the power of what you tell young women, it a lot of you have to think about all the factors at play. Um, Depending on what generation that woman is, what you tell her can really be a big deal. Just read the story, The Color Purple. Read the actual book, and you'll see what I mean when I say what I'm about to say. Um, so I know a person that when they were very young and impressionable, this is a woman, was told by her aunt that you don't want a husband. Why would you want a husband? Now, the person that told her this I'll say she was like a Beyonce. She was like a sheriff, big deal, first Black sheriff woman in this town. So this is like the 70s, guys. This is way back when. And she told her, hey, you don't want a husband. You know what you need to do? It's okay if the guy is married. It's okay. It's totally fine. Like that's better for you because you can stay single and you can do whatever you want, make your money. If you want to have kids, but you don't want to deal with a man, that's the best way to do it. He'll never be around. And I thought, holy smokes.
Wow.
And when I looked at how the person ended up and lived their life, it all made sense. And it was like, because you know how sometimes maybe say a family member or something, they make these crazy choices, but you don't have context.
Mhm.
And when I got the context, I thought, oh my God, it all makes sense now. And all of the judgments I had for that person, all of the preconceived notions, all of the anger I held, I had to let it go
Mhm.
because I realized somebody got to her in her most impressionable time. Because my thought was, why didn't you listen to your mom? Why are you listening to this person that doesn't live with you? Why? But it was because the influence in the house wasn't strong enough. So, I think we need to check our own psychology because those kinds of stories are true. Some of your mothers have been told certain things by people in their family, their circles when they were younger, which is why they did a lot of things that they did.
Yeah.
Your friends, a lot of them sometimes end up single mothers because of their influences.
Yeah.
So my job now is to get ahead of those mindsets, right?
Mhm.
Because like I said, you got to understand when I finally heard that story, oh my God. And it speaks to back to the Beyonce concert. We make a lot of decisions in the moment, right?
Mhm.
Because of course you're raised by people that have the best information at the time. So God bless some of us that we're still here. But it's like there are some people that really think that the best course of action is to go to this concert. Do you know that there's probably going to be a ton of kids born out of wedlock because of this concert? People are going to be partying at clubs, they're going to be drinking, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. and
I
they're
didn't
going to
even
have
think about that.
no, really.
Yeah.
Like I said, I
Mhm.
think about these things because it's deeper than just, oh, Victoria, you have a big mouth. Shut up. You're judgmental.
Mhm.
It's like, no, I'm actually looking at these little tiny nuances that we don't catch, you
Yeah.
know? So, what I'm saying all this to say, ladies, it's like we have to get in front of our own psychology. We then
Mhm.
have to say, okay, where did I come from? And then we have to look at the people that reared us and look at them objectively. And to close it out, because I know I'm kind of going all over the place with this, but it's like you have to recognize that your choices that you make by having bad credit, by not paying your bills, by going to a Beyonce concert versus, sitting your kid down and giving them $500 and putting it into some fund that they can't touch, but teaching
Mhm.
them about it, that's better because your kid is going to be affected by the choices that you make today.
Yeah.
So that's why I told that story, because it's just like I was affected by the way this person lived their life and angry about it. But when I asked them finally and they told me, I said, oh, they didn't even think about how their decisions would affect my life and the lives of those around them.
Yeah. I mean, I grew
So,
up, I guess, more protected than I realized.
mhm,
I didn't realize until, like, I didn't realize until I started hearing certain women telling their stories that their mothers were giving them advice like, "Have a baby at 17 and,
yeah,
then I can bequeath this Section 8 to you," or,
I hear that all the time.
I so I grew up in middle class
Mhm,
where none of my family, none of my friends, like, we I never knew anybody like that. So when people started first saying that, these people are having these conversations, I said, there's no way. Section 8 doesn't even pay that much, and now it's even worse because a lot of landlords don't want to take Section 8.
mhm,
Um, so some of these generational curses are, coming about because people are giving young people advice that worked 40 years ago but isn't relevant
yes.
to today,
Mhm, right.
The other thing that is happening is school is teaching in an old model. If we look at what employers are looking for today and the skills that are going to be needed in the future, the best thing you can teach your kid is how to learn new things because every 3 to 5 years, they're going to need to learn something new in order to stay relevant. So, yeah, you want them to learn basic math, basic
Mhm,
reading, like how to actually read, how to read statistics and understand what it means, how to read
mhm.
for comprehension, things like that. And, oh, and
Oh, I was
then,
just gonna say reading and comprehension.
mhm,
I wanna touch on that when you get done. Yes,
okay.
because that's a big one.
But if I had a young child right now, and even if I had a teenager right now, I
Mhm,
would spend an inordinate amount of time teaching them how to learn, how to actually think through problems, how to actually do a Google search or a ChatGPT search with just your employer asking you one question, but
mhm,
you having to take a step back and say, well, why is my employer asking me to provide them this? What are the 8 other things that they're going to want to know after they want to know this one thing? Like, part of the reason why I did well in corporate America is because I didn't just focus on the one question they asked me. I was able to answer the follow up questions as well. So my
mhm,
name was never, ever on a list for layoff,
mhm.
right? So go ahead. You want to talk about this? We're like off the debt and credit conversation. We're going to come back to it. I promise.
All encompassing. That's
Yes.
the whole thing, because when you change the way you see the world and how you comprehend debt, credit, getting your goals met, buying that first house is not as complicated as people think. A lot of this really is how you think and how you perceive the world. If somebody tells you that because you're Black and because you're a woman, you're destined to be single, which y'all, being single is expensive. Let's not lie to ourselves. It's very expensive. Marriage is a business move. That's all I'm going to say. But it's like, you got to figure out who you are, what you want, and what it's going to take to get there. If it takes changing the way you see the world, babe, you're going to have to change how you see the world. You're going to have to pivot, right? When it comes to reading and comprehension, I never quite understood like why reading and comprehension was so important in school until I got out into the real world and started to have to train people. My last job that I had, which was corporate, right? When I was in the Section 8 space in the affordable housing realm, when I had to train people and teach people, because I was like a software trainer, and that's crazy. That's what my job, a big part of my job was that, but they didn't put that on my, anyway, I didn't get paid like one. So it's like, I'm teaching somebody, hey, click that button right there. Because if you click that button, transmits all that data over there to where you can now generate the report. To get somebody to understand that simple concept is very hard. I didn't realize that the comprehension level of the average person is very low. So low that Google will not even tell you what it is. I searched this multiple times and I said, what's the average comprehension of the average American? Doesn't say anything, but they'll tell you the reading level of the average person is 6th grade, 4th grade, whatever it is. But they don't talk about the comprehension level. Because there's times where I've said very basic things to people and they take it and they run with it in a whole opposite direction. I'm like, that's not what I said. Come back, come back, come back, So when we think about, when we speak to the average person, 9 times out of 10, what you're saying is not being interpreted how you think it's being interpreted. Right. So there's a lot of having to clarify things in real regular life. Right. So it was weird that just stood out to me because I thought, man, if I could just wave my comprehension wand across the entire United States, particularly in the Black community, I would love to, because somebody said it and somebody also said it in the chat where we need to start thinking we deserve to be in those circles. I got one even better. Just know that you deserve to be there. You don't even think. You just know, because if the circle exists, depending on what it is, unless it's like a big old family circle or something, like it's like, no, if it's a business circle and you have something to bring to the table, you deserve to be there. It's your job to figure out how you are going to get your foot into that, right? You need to become a master of people. And that's the thing that we are not taught as women. We're taught that we need to keep people away, keep people out, not learn how people operate, not learn what ticks them, not learn what pleases them, when those are things that you need to know to get into those circles. Like I'll tell you a simple story. I knew, let's see, what's one thing that I do that works very well? And actually, okay, I'll give you guys a little, this is so off topic, but I did this one thing and it changed the trajectory of my entire social life. Okay, so I decided one year, I was single, and had lost a bunch of weight. I was real cute and everything. And I decided I wanted to go to meetups, right? Went on meetup.com, started going to these events, and had a friend that would put some stuff together on there too. One day I went to this party and I felt so out of place because I said, oh God, I don't listen to hip hop like that. I'm not really a dancer. I just like to grab my drink and sit in the corner. That's all I want to do. But I know I also need to make more friends. It helps, ladies, if you go into a corner or into a bathroom, stand in the mirror and talk to yourself and tell yourself that you are going to meet 5 people that night. Give yourself a pep talk to get into these rooms, because half the time, that's all you got to do is just get the nerve to do it. And I'm sorry, I feel like I'm going way off topic, but it's like, because we have been indoctrinated that we don't belong in certain places. And I'm like, no, y'all, what it is your energy doesn't belong in that room. It's not you. It's just, if I walk into a room, I'm talking to people and asking questions, because your average person doesn't get questions asked to them. Your average person doesn't actually get a compliment.
Yeah, especially men. I heard that, especially men. Yeah, I read that.
They
that
don't.
The average man doesn't really get very many compliments over the course of their lifetime, I think the study was.
No.
So, yeah, so even telling a guy you like his tie or you like his,
Let's give
um,
them game real fast because I think Goddess Athena
okay,
might have been in a conversation I was having about that.
all right.
I will never forget. This man was walking down the street and it was a black guy and I looked at him and I said, "Oh my God, wait a minute, stop." I was like, "Wait, the wind just kind of moved your jacket a little bit and the inside of that jacket is amazing." And he looked at me like, "Huh?" And I said, "Bro, the inside of that jacket and the buttons on the jacket." I complimented him on both of those things. He literally melted like butter when I'd said that. And I thought, oh my God, he must not get compliments ever. But I'm like, bro, you wore the jacket so because you wanted to show that you are unique, you're different. And I want to show you, you speaking to the right audience. Like, brother, you did that with that jacket, right? And it wasn't sexual, y'all. It wasn't pushing up on
Yeah, because
him.
Rose is asking.
No, it was just, brother, I see you. Wow. You know what I mean? And I'm that kind of person. Like if you have something that just strikes me, I am going to focus on that because I know you wanted somebody to see it. I know that. But again, I'm kind of goofy like that. Like I'm squirrel, that's me, right? If I see it, I'm going to say something. And once you all can get out of that box that you're in, first of all, recognize that you're in a box. Be honest with yourself. And then it's so like I said, it's okay, y'all. Be random. Try different things when you go out to places. Like Goddess knows. I told her when I wear a ring on this finger and I sit at the bar by myself, more men come up to me. I don't know what that is, but it
Guess they think you're more approachable.
that's what I'm saying. We're not gonna have that full conversation here, but if you just tweak some of what you do, it changes the whole game, because women are used to being complimented all the time, but it's the men that really aren't used to it. And I'm sorry, guys, if you compliment the right guy, you might end up in a business meeting or a business deal that you never saw coming.
Yeah,
So get into the rooms.
Stephanie, I can understand that it at certain times it may be dangerous. It does depend on, like, in my
Yes.
opinion, the
Yes.
neighborhood that you're I was going to say the neighborhood that you're in and the circumstances.
Mhm.
So, I mean, but if we are at a networking event or something like that, then we can definitely do that. But you're saying you understand the advice. Yeah, I think it depends on the circumstance. So I know that
Yeah.
Stephanie Victoria, Stephanie is very much into Black femicide and um, some of the harms that are happening with Black
Mhm.
women, and that's the reason why she's saying this. So I definitely wanted to acknowledge her with regards to this. Don't if you live in the hood, don't run walk up to random men talking about they look good.
Yeah,
So
y'all, you have to okay, and this is the other thing. We have to, as women, it's hard. But like this is why I say you have to let go of some of those stereotypical things that we've been told because we have our guard up and we're like kind of almost like everybody's the enemy, so we're tense. It's like if you back a dog into a corner, they're going to kind of always, "Oh, I can't trust you. I can't trust you." If you go out with that energy, you won't be able to detect when it's safe to do what I'm saying that you should do. You have to go into a situation with situational awareness. Yes. And like what you said, Cherie, you don't go in the hood doing that. I'm talking
no,
about if you
I
if
would
you go
in the
to a
hood doing
networking
that.
event
Yeah.
and let's say you don't have the skill set of what
Mhm.
those people have in that room, complimenting somebody on something that's a little off the wall a little bit is your way to get in because now you're charming,
Mhm.
right? So that's thank you though that she said that because it helped
Huh?
me to maybe clarify what I was saying.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. You have to be calm enough to read the room and see, okay, if I don't fit here, I still gotta find something though, because I can't be that girl sitting in the corner. I can't
Yeah.
be her.
So
So
everybody, I put the StreamYard link in. It is pinned if somebody wants to come up and chat about anything. There are a couple of comments that were made that I do want to go back to.
okay.
Miss Bree is saying women are masters of soft skills. I would think we would excel in business field with that, right? Yes, and we are excelling. We are. It's statistically being proven that women, especially Black women, are excelling in business. We're excelling in tech. We're excelling in the sciences, etc. So Our paths are truly paved with the nuanced decisions we make. That's true. Men
Mhm.
don't give compliments often. That is true.
Ever.
The environment and certain conditions. If you go in the hood, they'll be breathing down your neck, asking for your number. Yes. So
And don't say no,
this
because
is why I'm saying this is for we are upwardly mobile Black women. So situational awareness is important. So you're
big
saying
time.
here, Cherie, when I came on last time, I was so scared, nervous, but oh no, you should come
Ooh.
back to Ambrosia. No, you were fine. You were fine.
She
I
was
want
on
to
a
go back.
podcast or a
No, she came on to my channel. I dropped the link and she came on in one of the previous sessions. I want to go back to something that Rose said though,
Mhm.
because she talked here about networking. She says, networking never did me any good. My credentials are what opened the door. Sorry not to be contradictory. So I will say that there are times when your credentials get you in the door and then the soft skills keep you there. But I would imagine, Rose, that once you got into the door, your soft skills keep you there for the next opportunity that you get. Your network may kick in at that point. Because you may have coworkers today that you're working with who some of those coworkers may go work someplace else and they're like, you know what? I love Rose. We need to bring her over to this company.
Yep.
So, um, sometimes it may not be the very first job that you get, or even the second job. But I didn't take it as contradictory. I'm so glad that you mentioned that.
Mm.
But you always want to have a strong network, and you do want to build, and you do want to keep up with certain people professionally as they go up the ladder. You can go up as well. Did you want to comment on that, Victoria? Because I wanted to go back to that.
Yeah, and I would have to like talk to Rose like on another occasion, just one on one to understand. Because I would have been interested to see like what kind of networking that you did.
Mhm.
Because you're right, there are certain industries where networking is not really going to get you far, but I kind of also beg to differ with that because it could be you're networking with the wrong people. And the thing is, the area that you're maybe trying to network in is not for you, but you
Mhm.
don't know that because we don't. That's another thing we don't teach people is how to know when and where to network because you don't have to
Mhm.
network with everybody. But
Mhm.
heck, you could be at the drive-through and the person taking your order could actually be the distant niece or nephew of somebody on city council or, one of the biggest developers in your city. You never know
Yeah.
unless you open your mouth. So I think the other thing about networking that I find honestly interesting is that we always say networking because it's like you're talking to somebody with a goal in mind or you're trying to get something from that person. If you go into it with that energy, they can sense that.
Mhm.
They can sense that. And that's why I said sometimes you just have to talk to people about random stupid stuff because they don't even realize what you're doing. You're socially engineering them and they don't even know.
Yeah.
We do that on YouTube all the time. I'm not going to get into that because it's not a YouTube course, but Cherie knows what I'm talking about.
Yes, I
So,
do. I do.
that this is a interesting machine we have going on here.
Yes. So D'Ambrosia's saying, I agree, credentials equals looks, but your soft skills and personality is what keeps you there. That is the truth.
Same with credit
So,
repair. I tell people that your credit
yeah.
score is your resume, so to speak,
Mhm.
or your,
It's like
it's
your
your
financial resume.
yeah, but then it's
Mhm.
like a lender actually looks at your history on the
Mhm.
credit report. We think it's the score. It's not. It's what it contains. That's equivalent to your soft skills and stuff in this
Yeah.
regard.
So, our last 10 minutes, let's talk about getting out of debt.
Mhm.
And if anybody wants to come up, this is your last chance to come up. And then, Victoria, I definitely want you to shout out how people can get on your calendar as well with regards to
Yeah.
being able to speak to you further. But talk to us about debt. People may have $20,000 in credit card debt or $50,000 in a student loan, things
Mhm.
like that. Is it impossible to pay this debt off? How do we pay the debt off?
Never, ever, ever impossible to pay off debt. First thing you have to do when you are in debt is kind of like what Cherie said. It takes some time, but you have to get get informed about how much you actually have. Okay, because once you know where you're starting, then you'll know how to create a plan of action. Right? If it's overwhelming, that's why you would call somebody to help you out, right? But it's reverse engineering. That's all it is. If we're $20,000 in debt, okay, cool. We want to get rid of it. Let's figure it out. What is going to, number one, what's your motivation for even getting rid of the debt? Because you could have student loan debt till you die, right? You could erase all your debt by just filing bankruptcy. You could do that, and be done with it. But with the debt that you have to look at it and say, okay, how is this keeping me from the dream that I have? And then you start to work accordingly. Number one, if you're not making enough money, there's not enough tips and tricks I have under the sun to get you out of debt. Okay.
Ooh,
Even,
say that
even,
again.
yeah,
Mm.
if you're, because that's the thing. And that's why it's very important to know where you stand. So I believe the average debt here in the country that each person holds, and I'm not sure if it's person or household, but it's about $96,000 altogether. Now that's mortgage, student loans, credit cards. They're kind of factoring in everything, but mortgages and car loans are the biggest two in that 96,000. The average person only makes a little over $5,000, or the cost of living, I'm sorry, is about $5,000 per month per person, which is like 61,000 something per year.
Mm-hmm.
You're already in the hole. If you're at that 96,000 in debt, but your household expenses are 60 something thousand, you essentially have to be making about 150 just to stay even, 150,000 just to break even. So I'm saying all that to say you have to make more money. There is no way around it. Now, how you make that money is up to you. But let's go back to the reverse engineering. If you owe $10,000, you want to get rid of it in 12 months, we would say, right? We would just work it backwards, right?
Okay.
$10,000
About
divided by 12.
$830 a month.
Yeah, so 833 per month. So let's say 833. Let's divide that by 31 days in a month. You literally just need to make $26.87 per day for the next 365 days. How does that even sound like it's impossible? $26. And I don't promote panhandling, but you could panhandle in certain cities and make that every day. So I'm saying that to say there's a ton of ways that you can get rid of your debt. So if you're $20,000 in debt, let's say you make that $26.87 a day. Cool. But by doing what you're doing, right? You could just save that, move that money over and do it. But you could supercharge it by starting a business, but that's going to cost you money. So that's not always my first
Not
thing.
necessarily.
Okay.
Watch
And
my
we might
video.
have to talk. I was going to say, we got to
Watch my video from yesterday, everybody. Go ahead.
Is it on this channel too?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, girl, because I'm going to be watching it right after. I'll be like, look.
It's pay off debt with a side hustle.
And that's what I was going to say. And I think maybe we need to stop calling them side hustles, because if you read pretty much any article that's out there, everybody needs to have two sources of income. So it's not even side anymore. It's primary. It's just two things share the same spot.
It's called income stacking these days.
Right. So it's like, y'all just have the idea that, yes, you still need something extra. Why do you think your grandma or your crazy aunt, with the mouth on her, why do you think they always had cash in their bra? Y'all, money under the mattress. Y'all, money in the hope chest. Yes. Some of y'all's mamas and grandmas had hope chests. Safe deposit boxes. Where do you think that money came from? Right? People always got
Don't
something
tell us
going on.
her grandmother was moonshining.
I'm telling you, we looked at my granny's hope chest once and we found a revolver. I was like, oh, my granny's after my own heart. That was my first one. So I'm like, listen, nah, she is my grandmother. Okay. But what I was going to say is that, yes, you have to get comfortable with the idea that, yes, you are going to have to make more money. The beauty of it is that there's so many opportunities to make extra money out here. You just got to get in front of it before some robot gets in front of it. Okay. Because you can't even do food delivery now without competing with the robots. They got the delivery robots that go up and down the street.
Yeah, the robots, the drones, and the AI.
Yes. So that's really, honestly speaking, that's one of the most basic ways to get rid of your debt. Make more money, have a plan, and then figure out how long do I want to take to get this done. And then also, like I said, if you have a goal or something you want to obtain when you're debt free, that's going to help you out as well. But don't just think about the house. If you want a house, think about what the house represents to you. Think about what the house represents to your family tree, to the lineage, to the history, to the stories that will be told about you that did your thing and got it done. You got to start thinking bigger than just the object. You got to think about what the object represents. Then it lights a fire to do all the other stuff,
Yeah.
you know? So
Can
it's
I
very basic.
can I add something with regards to the income?
Mhm.
So, there was a study that just came out, and I've invited somebody to come and talk about salary negotiating. There
Mhm.
was a study that just came out, and I'll show it here on my screen. Um, it was featured in Black Enterprise that says that women of color, so let's just say Black women for this person purpose, set lower salary preferences than white women and men of color. So we're basically going in asking for 40 to 26% to 40% less than white men.
Mhm.
So for some of us, quite honestly, you've been working at that same job for 10 years now. You know you're underpaid $30,000 $40,000 a year. Some of you seriously need to look at switching, um, what do you call it? Switching employers, or going in and aggressively asking for a raise, switching, teams you're working on, etc. I know a gentleman who all he does is help people write their resumes in such a way that they get 20 to $40,000 bumps regularly in their salaries.
I love it.
He's a Black guy, he works primarily with Black people. A lot of us are underpaid in our primary job, so what I first suggest people do is look at your primary job. Now, I know right now the job market is kinda iffy, you're like, "I don't know if I really should move from this safe, secure job." It depends on the kind of work that you're doing, but some of you are in um, very safe, what do you call it? Industries,
Mhm.
in medical, things like that, where if you moved to another company, you most likely are not going to get laid off 2 weeks after you move to the other company. So, um, again, some of you really need to think about your primary job. Are you getting paid enough?
Mhm.
I also don't believe, I do believe you don't need a latte every day from Starbucks, but I think that taking all the lattes out for 14 years is not a solution either. So, what I like about Victoria and what she's saying is it is better for you to say, I'm going to start this business, this side business, or this, part time business is what we'll call it, in order to make $3,000 a month. And I can take that $3,000 a month and put it towards debt repayment, you know, or put it towards doubling up your mortgage so you can get out of your mortgage faster or whatever it
Yeah.
is. I do think that, and again, on my channel, yesterday we had an hour-long topic about things you're able to do to increase your income and some of my thoughts with regard to that, increasing your income to pay off debt. Um, Most of us on this channel, I would venture to say 95% of the women on this channel could make no less than $3,000 a month part-time if you put your mind to it.
Yeah, I agree. I okay, Sheree, can I tell you something that I do?
Absolutely.
I actually did it because I have a business course, a small business course that I'm gonna be launching hopefully next week, like the end of next week or
I did a
something.
small business course. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to talk about it during our thing last week, but yeah, so that's why I'm so excited about our new AI situation. But okay, I did a segment on my course, like I said, 30 days to 10K. When you really step back, y'all, and get yourself a whiteboard or something, really start reverse engineering this math, y'all, because I said, okay, I got to teach these people how to make 10K in 30 days. How am I going to make this make sense to them? So I basically just used my pricing model. I said, hey, if I do this number of calls per month at the price point that I have, if I sell this many products at a $25 price point, $47 price point, if I do this, bam, look at that, y'all. just made 10K in 30 days. Broke it down so simple to where I scared myself because I said, oh my God, that's what I do. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Like to actually write it out and tell somebody how it can be done, to know that light bulb goes off, it's like, oh my God. And y'all, you can see how I got excited about it.
Mhm.
Imagine getting excited about like getting that debt shackle off of yourself by just writing it out. Because once you know the numbers, y'all, the rest is smooth sailing.
Yeah.
The hardest part is seeing the mess you made. That's the hardest part. But once you're done, you're like, okay, what am I going to do now?
Yeah.
And just implement.
Yeah. And that's where the going dark mode makes sense. So that's why I'm only doing lives on the weekends. I
Got
love you
you.
ladies, but during the weekday, it's like super focused on getting done what I need to get done. I let go last year of every other thing that I was doing.
Hmm.
I keep this channel because it's therapy for me and because it's my way of giving back. When I say therapy, I just mean like it's an outlet for me,
Yeah, it's a
and
release.
it's a
I
release. I
totally
get
feel
to
you.
I get to talk about the darn Beyonce tickets and kiki and laugh. I'm going to be doing a show on reparations. We talk politics here. We talk
Mhm.
because politics and wealth are linked. We talk about all sorts of
Oh.
stuff. But it is a way for me to kind of get messages out there that I feel like need to be in the air. The big message is that you are able to do whatever it is that you put your mind to. Black women are incredible. We are resourceful. If you want to fix your credit, you will fix your credit. For me, fixing my credit was fortunately when I decided to fix my credit, I was like 12 months away from stuff falling off of my credit. So that was
Ah,
helpful. But,
Jesus.
you wanna fix your credit by paying your bills. I'm sure that Victoria will talk to you. Some of you have medical bills that you need to go into the hospital, and Victoria will tell you how to go to the hospital and how to negotiate and what they need to write on the letter so that that the credit agency will take it off in good standing and all of that stuff. Like, you need to know how to play the game of
And
credit.
investigate, because y'all, and Cherie, actually had a question for you before we close out, because
Uh-huh.
the dark mode thing is really sticking out in my brain.
Oh, and there's a
Um,
couple of other questions in here as well, but go ahead.
okay, what I was gonna say also is that you know how when you're out and like you hear some gossip about somebody, and depending on if you know that person or not, you might be like, wait a minute now, I don't know the full story. That don't sound like that person. I need to know more. I need to know who
Mhm,
said what and where were y'all? What day of the week was this? Because that don't sound like my friend.
mhm.
Same thing with your medical bills. A lot of times we get stuff put on the credit report because somebody in the medical billing department didn't even they put services on there that you didn't even get.
Ooh, you're right
So
about that, I've heard that.
yeah, so it's not even just I didn't pay it because I couldn't afford it. You probably couldn't afford it because they billed it incorrectly. So it pays to know what codes they're using, what those codes cost. If you have insurance, how much is your insurance supposed to pay? You got to do some deep research, y'all. You can't just rely on these people to tell you stuff because they'll
Yeah.
tell you whatever they want. And you didn't, you listen, the dentist does that all the time. They'll be like, yeah, we gave him this shot. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You put Novocaine or whatever that gel is on a Q-tip and put it in my mouth. That's what you did. You didn't give me no shot or nothing. Don't bill me for that
Oh my
syringe.
goodness. Oh
Don't
my
do that.
goodness.
So you
Everybody
got
like the video, everybody share the live stream. Go
but
ahead, I'm sorry,
that's
Victoria.
reading and comprehension, right? Because you're
Mhm.
like, if they say this is what my bill was, you need to comprehend what was actually on there. You have
Yeah,
the right to understand that stuff, y'all.
yeah, yeah. Pay now, pay later. Celine was asking questions. Was first of all saying, I'm trying to be more aware of what I'm spending my money on, especially with debit and credit cards. I was
Yeah.
told during the home buying process, your lender will go through your statements for income. This is true. They get your bank statements for at least 3 months. Um, Check your spending habits and check your credit. I don't want Beyonce tickets to come up. Is it true that lenders check for that? They will
Frivolous.
see it. They will see it. I will tell you that, the lenders that I've spoken with, honestly, the thing that ruins the deal is that people 2, 3, 4 days, a week before they're set to close, they will go to the car dealership and they will buy a car or they will lease a car. And what that does is because the mortgage broker, the lender, they pull your credit just before you sign the documents,
Yep.
probably a day or two before. What has really caused people issues is not the Beyonce tickets per se. It's you went and even got an inquiry from the furniture place
Yeah.
on your credit, and all of a sudden now you have, a new credit card with $10,000 at Furniture Rental City Inc., things like that. So I did a session, Celine. I think you were here for that, the 25 tips for buying your first home. One of the tips I gave you is from the time you start the home buying process till you have signed the paperwork at the closing table. Don't do anything. Don't buy anything. you know, no cars, no leases. Don't put any inquiries on your credit. Don't apply for credit. Nothing. Once you get the home, people will gladly give you a car. In fact, you'll have a better chance of getting a car after you buy a home because they'll run your credit and they'll say, "Oh, she's a homeowner," so you'll get money thrown at you hand over fist and don't have equity in your home. Then they start coming to you with you want a HELOC and all of that stuff. So,
This is
yeah.
true. I'm so glad you said that because people don't know that they run your credit one more time because
They
they
do.
know as soon as you get approved, you going to go buck wild. They know that. And this is why I tell y'all your credit report tells us who you are.
Hmm.
If you start running stuff up, they know you can't be
Hmm.
trusted.
Yeah. My broker was like, don't even ask for a Q-tip. Don't let don't let any how you go into the stores and they're like, oh, you can get 10% off if you sign up for the credit card. Like, no, like
Don't do it.
nothing. You want to talk about dark mode? Like you don't let them run your credit for anything.
Because why do you need it? Think about
Hmm.
you are about to do the biggest flex of your life by
Yes.
having that house. That opens up so many doors to funding. You have this asset now where you could literally like start in an empire if you wanted to, if you
Hmm.
really play it right. It's like if you understand what like being a homeowner really truly means,
Hmm.
you would never mess up and make that mistake. So that's why I say you just got to calm yourself so you can see situations clearly. The house is yours. You can
Yeah.
get the furniture after. Okay? You
You
get
can
it
get so
after.
much after. You will get the furniture after, trust me. The Home
Yes.
Depot credit card, the Lowe's credit card, the new lease on the Benz, if that's what you wanna do. I don't suggest you do all of that. I suggest you spend the first 12 to 18 months after you buy in a house because buying a house, there's so many expenses that is added on top of that.
Mhm.
I'm a fan of, save as much as you can through like the first 12 to 18 months. But if you decide, I spent 9 months preparing to buy this house, now I want to go buck wild, then have at it. So
And with the store cards, y'all just don't do it because honestly, that
yeah.
10% you about to save, look,
It's a
don't.
scam.
That's
D'Ambrosia,
like
you
tax.
always right. It's a scam. It's a scam.
I ask you the question about dark mode?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Because this is a female focused channel
Yes, ma'am.
and um women do struggle with not wanting to be socially isolated,
Mhm.
particularly when we're in the building phase. For whatever
Mhm.
reason, a lot of women struggle with that, right? And
Mhm.
I think I'm different because I'm a little nocturnal. Like I'm gonna be here probably till like 2, 3 in the morning, and it's nothing to me. I love this time of night, right?
Mhm.
But some people are not comfortable with isolating. So, what would you say to a woman that needs that social interaction or needs that brunch every Sunday with her girlfriends, but she simultaneously knows that she needs to build her financial moat, so to speak. How do we reconcile that? Is it possible? Like, what does dark mode truly look like?
Hmm. That's a very good question. So, if we are talking about a woman who is trying to save financial, she's trying to save. She's trying to pay off debt. She wants to save as much money as possible. And
Hmm.
she has a brunch that happens. Then I would ask, can the brunch happen at her house? And can people chip in $10 to $15 each? She can go, they cash app her. She goes, she buys the eggs, she buys the pancakes. And um, this is a great way for her to still have community without like spending, money out,
Hmm.
out and about. If it is that she is concerned with being isolated because she's building a business, I will say there are going to be plenty of people that you speak with during the business building phase.
Hmm.
So you wouldn't necessarily worry about that. I would imagine that a lot of people would be more worried about my kids aren't going to get the attention that they need.
Hmm.
If that's the case, then usually children require more quality attention than quantity. So there are going to be certain time periods where you need to take care of your children. I would never ever tell a mother not to do that. But looking at some of the other things that they're doing outside of spending quality time with their children and figuring out how that time could be moved over. Um,
Hmm.
Sometimes it's other family members as well, a mother that guilts you, or a
Right.
sister that guilts you because you're spending time doing something else.
Right.
Um, I don't have the answer to that except because my mother is pretty understanding,
Hmm.
except with my mother, me being able to say, okay, right now I'm super focused on my job.
Hmm.
So that means like you can see the door is closed here. We have this sign that's kind of, it's not like do not enter, but it's kind of like do not enter.
I have one on my
And
office door.
yeah, so we have a deal that if the do not enter sign is on, then that means, no entering.
Right.
But on the opposite end of that, the do not enter sign is not on all day. It's, it may be on for 90 minutes to 2 hours. And then I go out, I go downstairs. How you doing? Okay. And then I can come back and do another hour and a half to 2 hours. And I think that that's where the balance comes in. I hope I answered your question because I kind of think it depends on what what you're doing within your dark mode as a response.
And also not second guessing going into dark mode because
Mhm,
it is a different you at that time. But you
mhm.
have to become a different you to get the thing that you want. So
Absolutely.
I just wanted to, I guess, let women know that there will be some social pressures involved. So
Mhm.
do not second guess yourself because of those pressures. I'm trying to make sure y'all understand that those things are going to happen, you know?
Yeah. D'Ambrosia is saying it's sad because I'm sure people wouldn't want to do house brunches. I would cut them all together until I get it right. Some people have done that. I don't know about the brunches themselves, but I do know a woman who her dark mode was she and her partner spouse decided to pay off all of their debt. And for a couple of years, they did not go on the family and friend vacations that they were used to going on. And people started asking them, well, why aren't you going on vacation with us? And they were honest with their
Mhm.
family and friends. And,
Mhm.
the family and friends just had to respect that. um, I understand not wanting certain people in your house, but then were they your close friends? So, um,
And
but
will they even be in your circle after you get done with doing what you're doing? Because a
yeah,
lot of the people that we deal with, you guys, men, women, friends, whatever, we only deal with them because they're at our economic level. Because
yeah, it's true.
we haven't been exposed to anything else.
Yeah.
Let's start being honest with ourselves, and that's a hard pill to swallow. And I sounded like
Mhm.
a butthead when I said that, but
But
it
it's
is
the
what it
truth.
is. Yeah, when you deal with people in certain areas, certain echelons, the stuff they talk about is so different than what you and maybe one of your friends might talk about, right?
Yeah, that's
Different.
true. D'Ambrosia's saying that wine at a friend's place is my ideal. Yeah, you could split a bottle of wine with a friend. Most of the wines are $20, and that
Good
way,
wine too.
yeah, good wine. It's like
I love
$20.
wine.
Yeah, I
Wine
mean,
is
we're
my
not talking
thing.
about anything cheap that gives you a headache. So, yeah, so I do think you need to have a fun budget. I don't that's the reason why I said you're not going to give up all your lattes, but it's just like losing weight. You can't have everything. You can't have the chips, the cake, the pies, the bacon, you know.
Bacon's so
you
good. Oh my
you
god.
have to choose one thing. So if it is uh, Thursday night wine with a friend, then that's your thing of the week or the time period or whatever it is. So, Legacy, you are welcome. Um, are they still afraid of the 19?
That's a
Oh,
big one. That affected us in a big way.
mhm,
We're seeing the without going too deep in it, just like I say, y'all start putting your special goggles on. Put on your night vision
mm,
goggles, okay? Because it'll show you the things that aren't very clear in the first place, like the stuff they don't want you to be clear about. But we're still recovering socially from that. So you guys, we're still trying to um salvage what relationships we have left because a lot of social breakdown happened at that
mhm,
time. And that's why I said, Cherie, I wanted you to touch on the dark mode thing because
mhm,
some of us it'll be easier for some of us to go into dark mode because we may have lost a lot of people socially because of that.
yeah,
But like I said, because we're still adjusting, don't feel bad if you have to do it. But yes, 19 did have something to do with even the way you think about people coming into your house now.
sure.
It's different for a lot of people.
Sure.
So pay
I
attention, y'all.
still I still remember when COVID first came out, they told you to get your Lysol and like wipe everything down. Like we had the habit of wiping down our groceries that we brought into the house. Do you know to this day, I went grocery shopping earlier today. I
Mhm.
still pull out the Lysol wipes and wipe down everything before I put it in the refrigerator. So I think
Yeah.
there are certain habits that you're just always going to have. Um, D'Ambrosia is saying that her friends love going out and being social, but I want to save and they don't. So Dave Ramsey talks about this all the time. He talks about the fact that as you start paying off debt and the closer you get to being debt free, and then when you become debt free, your friends, your neighbors, your family members will become very jealous of
Oof,
you that you have done
God.
it. And you have to be able to adjust to the new reality. And the reason they become jealous of you is because it's something that they wanted to do.
Mm.
So if they don't and you do, at some point, they may distance themselves from you, or you may distance yourself from them because they will become toxic to you.
Oh God,
Like,
I didn't know you was gonna get that real, Cherie.
just the truth.
Yeah. And again, you cannot take everybody with you.
You
If
certainly
all your friends are renters, they are not going to understand the mental capacity that it takes to be a homeowner.
mm,
It's okay to admit that. It's okay to admit it. It doesn't mean you love them any less.
mhm,
Do you still hang out? Okay, Cherie, however old we are,
mhm. I'm 46.
why are we not hanging out at preschool? Why aren't we going and sitting at our in our elementary school cafeteria?
Yes,
I
because
never
they're
want to
not
leave.
going.
I never want to leave. Everybody's gone, but I want to stay here. It's
Mhm,
the same thing. It's the same thing,
mhm.
y'all. Your
You're
friends don't
right.
want to move because they we like to be at our set point. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of
Mhm,
us stay at the jobs because it's uncomfortable, but it's a comfort in the discomfort.
mhm,
It's just safe enough. You know what I mean? So you stay. Your friends are the
mhm.
same way, but now you're venturing off and you're doing something very scary to them.
Yeah. It's just like we have had the conversation on this channel about the work friends that you have. And as you begin to get your certifications, as you begin to get better projects and things like that, management starts grooming you for higher opportunities within the company,
Mhm.
your friends are going, your work friends who are your equal are going to sometimes start sabotaging you, or you think you're too much, you think you're too good for us, things like that. You may have to separate from those friends because management may not promote you because they think that your friendships are going to be a problem, etc. So being upwardly mobile is not um, it's not always glamorous, you know. You will have to make new friends. You will have to discover new people. The air is very thin. The air is very thin up here, but
I love that you say this. Oh my God, this is gold.
there's so many pluses to it as well. And let me tell you something. When all of my debt is paid off and I have my investments, I'm going to buy a couple of businesses. I'm going to get into some tax liens and things like that. You won't be able to tell me shit. And yes, I did. You
I
won't be
love
able to tell
it.
me nothing. Let me be 60 years old. I'm going to be like, Cherie, you going to work? Nope.
Yeah, and this is I was talking with the young lady oh gosh, she gonna kill me. I'm forgetting her name. It's escaping me right now. Farida. I was talking with Farida on like 2 lives ago. We did a live
Mhm.
on
I
Friday.
saw it. It was a phenomenal. Yeah, everybody who wants to get into tech, definitely go
Man.
check that out.
When I heard her story, I was like, girl. So what's so crazy to me though is that again, I'm all about flipping the narrative, you guys. Whatever, like the general pop, I call them Gen Pop, whatever Gen
Mhm.
Pop wants you to believe about yourself and your situation, just know that whatever you can conceive is it can happen.
Yes.
Okay. And if you're of a particular belief, you already think it's happening in another frequency or atmosphere or dimension,
Mhm,
as they say, right?
mhm.
So this is what I'm saying. You have to get comfortable with like the idea that there's a reason that you were given the idea, the big idea, to do whatever it is that you want to do. And the thing we have to understand as women, because it's very hard, because we want to be social and we want to be liked and we want to be this and that. Men don't care about that junk. So here's my thing. If you, as my coworker, don't pay my bills, if you're just the person that makes me laugh when I go to work, if you're the class clown, if you're the, I don't know, the one that slacks off and we have to pick up, really think about who your coworker is in the office because everybody has a personality. Would I want to know this person 50 years from now? Would this person be my friend if we didn't have to come into this dang office and be shackled to this desk every day? Would I even like this person? Some of us don't even like our own parents. If we didn't if we weren't related and we just knew them personally, we'd be like, that person ain't my cup of tea. I
Yeah,
don't
this
think that
makes
I
sense.
don't because no, and I swear I told my mom that once, girl. I know it hurt her feelings, but I said, Ma, I wouldn't even be I wouldn't even be your friend. I said, God, I love you so much, but I would not be your friend.
Mhm.
This girl, we would be fighting all the time. But it's like when you look at things objectively, you start saying to yourself, wait a minute now. Y'all are only friends at work because you own the same plantation.
Mhm.
That's it. But once you get to the big house, sorry,
You're
y'all.
gonna have to leave people behind.
Yeah, always think about the triangle. They always talk about and guys, I'm not Illuminati, but they always talk about the pyramid, right? And it's like, no,
Mhm.
guys, really look at a pyramid. There's a ton of people down here because they have to hold up the very few that are right here. So, like
Mhm.
Cherie was saying, the air is thin because the higher you get, the fewer people are actually there.
Yeah.
But really think about how thin the air is down here because you're suffocating
Mhm.
being down here with all the regular people. You just don't know it yet, but you're
Yeah.
suffocating.
And it's about to get worse too. We're
Oh
definitely
yeah,
going
because
to
we
have you
all gonna
come
start.
back
They gonna all suck up the air.
because this affordable housing issue isn't going away anytime soon. It's going to get worse. There's issues within the education system. We've spoken about that, ladies, on this channel. There's issues with the types of jobs that are going to be available. the influx of immigrants that are coming in. And look, if we don't get these jobs today, they are coming to take these jobs. Nobody's waiting on Black America in order to get its stuff together. So
True.
um, the level of work that's going to need to be done, because the robots are here, they're not coming, they're here. The AI is here. The types of jobs are going to change, and either people are going to complain or they're going to level up. And I just, part of this channel is me being able to say, the truth. And Democrat or Republican, they're both doing the same thing. We've talked on this channel that if the Democrats wanted to reverse Roe v. Wade, they would have done it. Not reverse it. They if they wanted to, um,
Overturn.
or, say it again.
Overturn it.
Not overturn it, but they had if they, I forget the legal term for it, but they could have put it into law, federal law, like that couldn't be overturned. They had a chance. They didn't want to do it.
Mhm.
Uh, the Democrats and the Republicans want you having babies, um,
Well,
and
yeah, the workforce.
the,
That's
the the workforce.
they need
Social
them.
Security is, if you are under the age of 50, I wouldn't depend on Social Security at all.
Mm-mm.
At all. You're going to have to do something in order to secure your economic future. And what Erica's talking about, these master communities, there's going to be the haves and the have-nots. And the
Yeah.
haves are going to be sectioned off with robot guards and a couple of humans, and they're going to shoot anybody. I shouldn't have said that. YouTube is probably going to flag this video now. They're going to get rid of anybody who tries to get over the fence and come into the master communities. And master communities are going to require green. You're going to require money. So that's the whole point of this channel, is if you are able to get your credentials together. We are going to have somebody come on and talk about salary negotiation, because there is no reason why we as Black women should be walking into a job expecting 26 to 40% less. That is a no-go. So we're going to have to figure out how we're going to fix that. And then you start your part-time business, as Victoria's corrected me, in order to pay off debt, in order to buy a house, in order to pay off that house sooner,
Mhm.
get your kids competitive. We have talked on this channel about the summer camps. These parents are bribing summer camp counselors to get their kids into the best summer camps that are out there, and we're in gender war about who's on Section 8 and a whole bunch of foolishness.
And the world
It
is watching. And did I say that at the beginning? Like we have a role in society as Black
you did
people?
not you did not say that, but I love a good conspiracy theory, and I believe most of them.
Yeah. Cause guys, we were taught like, okay, there is, like I said, there is an effort here, you all. Like they are teaching Black women, you're better off single, stop creating families.
Whew.
They're also and they're teaching Black men, sorry to say it, it's better to date out, it's better to focus on that. And I'm like,
Passport bros. Yeah.
yeah. And I'm like, okay,
Mhm.
guys, listen, listen, listen. The only reason they're able to throw all that garbage at us is because we fall for it. We are known
Mhm.
as like America's emotional little brother. That is what we are. We cry, we scream, we stomp our feet, and then we, like you said, we walk into a job but still accept 40 to 60% less.
Mhm.
Nobody told you to do that. Nobody
Nope.
told you to do that. You did that. So once we
Mhm.
can start getting the accountability back on our side, then we know other people may be out to get us, but it's not because you're a certain color, it's just because you're seen as the weaker
Mhm.
in this country. So you got to remember that it's not necessarily the color corresponds, but it's really just you're in that slot right now of the have nots. So we now have to look at that and say, oh snap, that's us. What do we do to get out of it, because other groups have come here and done it.
Yes, they have.
So stop. So that's why I say, you guys, you gotta pull the veil off of that color thing.
Yeah.
Cause
And
like,
stop saying that they get a leg up because let's be real, there are programs that are out here in workforce development that
Mhm.
if you were looking for them, you could find them and you could get full scholarships. You could get the money to get all sorts of certifications for free, recruiting help, etc. There is the NACA program. I talk about it all the time,
Mm.
NACA.com,
Mhm.
where you can get a free down payment to buy a house. A lot of our issues is because we are not focused on the right thing as a
Ooh,
community. There are so many great people on YouTube who have tremendous amount of information that they give away for free. But guess what? You go to their videos, they have 50 views.
that's
Whereas
me.
you go to other people's videos and they've got 1.1 million people watching it and it's garbage. In fact, to the point where if I'm looking for real content, I go to the people who have 50 to 100 views on their videos because I know that that's probably the information. That's like where the real information is.
Best
So, and
decision.
Farfigha gave me the term is codified. They could have codified Roe v. Wade and they didn't. Yes.
Got you.
Can we talk about tax liens? Yeah, I will talk about that at some point and making money from, yeah.
Very
Yes,
cool. I
Rosa.
just got my check, y'all. I made $2 off of one of my tax liens this year.
How much you put in?
Girl, only $40. But they ended up paying it. They paid it so fast. Like as soon as I paid for the tax
Uh-huh.
lien, I got a check like I think maybe a month or less later. And I was like, oh, they wasn't playing. They was
You
like, all
got
right,
your
let me
ROI, girl. You got
I
your
know. And I
ROI.
got my little tax document. I was like, oh, that's right. I sure did make that $2.
Mhm.
I got
Look,
another one
that's the
floating out
start.
there somewhere.
Yeah,
So
that's enough. That's a start. So, well, D'Ambrosia is unwinding for the night, and I need to unwind too, so I can be ready for tomorrow. Victoria, how do people get in touch with you if they want you to review their credit, help them fix their credit, or information about getting out of debt?
So, to review your credit and give you an actual strategy for yourself, if I can talk about something new I'm doing with our consultations, you can book me at mycreditcall.com. So, you will be able to speak with me directly, exactly like Cherie and I are doing right now. And I'm adding a nice little touch to it where all of the tips and the stuff that we give you for your debt payoff strategy or credit repair, we're actually going to give you a recording of the call. So you have a reference point for all the tools, the bank accounts, the products that I'm going to offer, everything. So you have no reason to not refer back and say, what part of the process am I on right now? Oh, I can go back to that part. Because y'all, I want y'all to be set. Okay. So, yeah, so book me. We can have a video call from mycreditcall.com. I also have a free option, but you can read the description of it on my website to figure out if you want to partake or not. But as far as credit repair as well, you still would need to book at mycreditcall.com because we want to make sure that we're a good fit for one another. So that's really where you can reach me. And general questions, the CreditSolutionist at gmail.com. That's my catch all. If you just, not really sure if we're for you, hit me up there. And subscribe to the
Fantastic.
YouTube channel.
Definitely subscribe to her YouTube channel. She's got a lot of great information there. She doesn't just talk credit and debt. She talks a lot about increasing your income and has great guests on talking about all sorts of topics, relevant topics with regards to our money. So, with that, ladies, I hope you enjoy tonight. Hit the like video on your way out. Share this live stream with a friend or two, and I will see you all on the weekend, next weekend. Take care. Bye. Thank you, Victoria.
You're welcome.